I'm Margaret Koolman at soulastrology.com. This Leo new moon, the chart, is quite striking in that there is just the one pattern. This pattern has been at the back or within all the patterns over the last few months. This big T-square with Pluto at the top of it, at the point of it. Pluto in Capricorn. So the general adjustment that we're all making on the practical material level, by we all, I mean the world as well as each one of us. But of course we all do it in our own way, and we've all got our own smaller things in our lives going on that we have to adjust to. It doesn't affect everybody equally. It would depend on where the planets are in your own natal chart. So in a way, it depends where the buttons are on you that get pushed. If you have any planet at the beginning of any sign, it's going to be affected by this pattern. The opposition between Uranus and Jupiter in Aries on the left, and now we have Saturn and also Venus and Mars in Libra on the right. This is the thing that's going to be noticing in terms of our relationships, or already has been noticing in terms of our relationships. Saturn has at last gone into Libra to stay there for the next 2.5 years. So it's as though all our relationships, all our relating, not just even with people, but with our possessions, our pets, our home, our work situation, our relationship with everything is called into question in a way. In order to relate, we need to be fully present. We need to be here with whatever it is, whoever it is we're relating to, and giving them equal attention to what we give ourselves. But also, one has to say, giving oneself equal attention to what one's giving to the other. It needs to be a balance between the two, because we are all of equal value as human beings. Saturn in Libra is showing us the facts of what goes on in our personal way of relating. It's not about other people. It's about ourselves and how we relate. I'm responsible for my side of any dialogue, of any communication. I'm not responsible for how the other person is. I am not responsible for trying to make their experience a good one, or for them getting the point of what I'm trying to say. I'm only responsible for my side of the communication. What's actually happening in relationship is that we are interfacing with who we're relating to. There is an interface between us. My input needs, if I want to communicate, to be something that the other person's way of interfacing can actually connect with. So I need to notice how they are responding to me. I need to notice how I feel in response to them. And the adjustments in communication need to be possible. But it's not in order to have an effect on the other person. It's simply in order to touch them, to touch up against their space. There are many other things that relationship is. This is just the bit that strikes me when I look at Saturn in Libra. Beautifully, since Saturn went into Libra just a little while ago, Venus and Mars have both been across it. So we see them a little bit further into Libra. Venus being the attracting side of relationship, what we like about it, how we draw people and things towards us, and Mars being the energy that we put out in relationship. To have them coming together is a beautiful marriage of the masculine and feminine principles. In Libra, which is about that marriage, it feels very fortuitous, a good time, and they will actually be moving along together right up until the full moon on the 24th of August. So if we continue to inspect what goes on in relationship, taking responsibility for our end of it and not blaming anybody else for anything that we feel, this next couple of weeks is a beautiful time for relationships to flower, to feel good, a good time to make connections. The connections that we make, however, because the Saturn is at right angles to Pluto, we may not be able to follow them through. So if we regard everything that happens in our relating and in our thinking about life, and of course with the Aries, the other side, our own plans for ourselves, if we regard all of this that's going on as a view of possibilities that we may not necessarily want to manifest even, given a little time, but they're all visions of possibilities which later, when Jupiter and Uranus go into Aries again next year, 2011, that we will know by then what it is that we would like to manifest, and the manifestations can then come about. If we try to push too hard, we will stumble, and that's the message of Pluto holding that position, squaring the other two ends. The other planets in the chart aren't doing a lot. Chiron and Neptune are retrograding close together again. Mercury is on his own. The Sun and Moon even don't connect to anything. And I think with them being together in the middle of Leo, it's a perfect month for appreciating the inner capacity for enjoyment, just being with yourself in your life and seeing what is pleasing about it, which is why the contemplation that follows this is about opening the heart. There is more about relationships on my website. Straighten your spine and lift your chest, holding your neck back for your head to rest securely over your spine. Opening the upper rib cage, your heart is freed. More breath expands the lungs, the heart is moved between them and awakes. The key to Leo is posture. More breath, a bigger heart, opening to what is all around you. This is not pride, as your ego knows it, nor self-esteem in confrontation. This is being big enough to reach beyond the enormous impact your little life has on your worrying mind, big enough to reach out and touch the experience of others. Breathe from your expanded heart through the threads connecting heaven and earth, breathing radiant light from your source out into the lives that need. Breathe the light through yourself until you know that all is spirit, is safe, is well. And as you return, breathing radiance into everything, notice how the light becomes compassion.